Gambling addiction is most often explained in the wrong way. It is described as a failure of discipline, a lack of self-control, a moral weakness. This explanation is simple and it is damaging. Because once addiction is framed as character failure, the conversation ends before it becomes useful. Shame takes over, silence follows, and the silence is the environment in which addiction grows strongest. My name is engmanrecovery, an addiction mentor and public awareness advocate. I have worked with individuals who thought their addictions were beyond redemption. The purpose of this video is not to scare you, not to shame you, not to moralize you. The purpose is understanding. Because when people understand what actually happens to them, recovery becomes possible without humiliation, secrecy, or self-hatred. In this episode, you will learn how gambling addiction actually forms, why stopping feels harder than it should, how the brain is trained to compulsive betting, how addiction spreads into finances, families, and identity, and how recovery actually works in real life. This was never about willpower. It was never. Part 1. Shame, silence, and misdiagnosis. Shame is not loud. It does not announce itself. Shame whispers. You should know better. Other people don't struggle with this. If they find out, everything will collapse. Shame does one critical thing. It turns a solvable problem into a hidden one. Many people delay seeking help not because they enjoy gambling, but because admitting the problem feels more dangerous than continuing it. Death feels survivable. Exposure does not. This is why silence becomes common. Silence about money. Silence about borrowing. Silence about fear. Silence about relapse. And silence produces isolation. Isolation is not a side effect of addiction. It is one of its primary feared sources. When addiction is framed purely as personal failure, the system that produces addiction are never examined. This framing is convenient. It is also false. Part 2. This was never a fair fight. Modern gambling products are not neutral games of chance. They are engineered environments. Every element has a function. Colors stimulate arousal. Sounds reinforce anticipation. Animation creates momentum. Delays keep attention engaged. These systems are designed to do three things exceptionally well: capture attention, extend play, and reduce stopping. They are not designed to maximize enjoyment. They are designed to maximize engagement, even when enjoyment fades. This explains a common experience many gamblers describe: continuing to bet long after the activity stops being fun. When someone says, "I should have known better," what they are really saying is, "I encountered something more powerful than I understood." That is not weakness. That is exposure. Part 3. Addiction does not begin with money. One of the most important corrections in recovery is this: gambling addiction does not begin with money. It begins with emotion, loneliness, anxiety, financial pressure, unemployment, uncertainty about the future, unresolved personal pain. Gambling often begins at a moment when life feels overwhelming. At that moment, gambling offers something powerful: temporary relief, a narrowing of focus, a quieting of distress. This relief is short-lived, but the brain remembers it. Gambling industry understands this very well. Marketing does not primarily target people who feel secure. It targets people who feel stuck, behind, or desperate for change. This is not accidental. This is strategic. Part 4. Dopamine and the learning loop. To understand why stopping feels so difficult, we need to understand the dopamine. Dopamine does not create happiness. It creates anticipation. It tells the brain, "This matters. Pay attention." In gambling, dopamine is released not when you win, but when you expect to win. The brain learns that gambling reduces discomfort. It interrupts stress, that it quiets anxiety. Over time, gambling becomes emotional regulation. This is why stress triggers craving, boredom triggers craving, anxiety triggers craving. When gambling stops, dopamine drops, life feels flat, pleasure feels distant. This is withdrawal. And many relapses happen here, not for pleasure, but for relief. This is biology doing what it was trained to do. Part 5. When addiction leaves the mind and enters life. Addiction never stays internal. It spreads outward, into finances, into relationships, into families, into identity. Families often notice changes before the gambler does. Irritability, shortened patience, emotional withdrawal, guided phone use. Trust rarely relapses at all once. It erodes gradually. Money disappears faster than expected. Bills are delayed. Needs are postponed with the hope that the next one will fix everything. It rarely does. Part 6. Mental health and collapse. As pressure increases, mental health deteriorates. Sleep becomes disrupted. Thoughts race at night. Losses stop feeling random. They feel personal. Like evidence of failure. Shame deepens. The body stays in constant alert. This is nervous system under chronic stress. Part 7. Why withdrawal is the most dangerous phase. When gambling stops, emptiness appears. Time stretches. Nothing feels rewarding. This phase is temporary, but it feels endless. Recovery often fails here because this phase is misunderstood. Part 8. What recovery actually requires. Recovery does not begin with motivation. It begins with containment, restricting access to money, blocking gambling platforms, removing triggers. This is not punishment, it is protection. Then comes replacement, healthier coping tools, movement, routine, connection. Support accelerates recovery. Relapse, if it happens, is information, not failure. Part 9. Responsibility beyond the individual. Advertising limits matter. Age verification matters. Speed restriction matter. Reinforcement matters. These are protective measures, not moral judgment. Part 10. Identity and healing. Recovery does not require becoming a different person. It requires removing a behavior that hijacked the nervous system. Urges may return. Urges are memories, not commands. Recovery is measured by increased choice, more pause, more agency, more self-trust. Now, hear this quiet truth. If you recognize yourself in this, you are not broken. You are not weak. You adapted to pressure with the tools you had, and better tools can be learned. Gambling addiction is a learned response to stress and uncertainty, and learned responses can be unlearned.